Welcome to the Ray Bros Nerd Show. I am Jonathan, your host, with my brother Zach.
What's up, guys?
So, if we sound a little froggy, because both of us are kind of dealing with some head cold issues, but we're going to push through to make sure we get a podcast on time. So, first things first, did you see the trailer for the Nintendo Switch?
Yeah. Man, that was a thing.
You didn't like it?
Like,
I think it should have been what the Wii U was, or the Wii U should have been this. Because I like the idea, because it's like, you have the game at home, and like for example, you can't play that game on the go. You know what I mean? To the same dynamics you could. Like you have the 3DS, and the PSP or the PlayStation Vita. Even those games are on their own separate thing. This like you can take on the go. You have like different controllers. The only two things that I kind of worry about, or not really worry about, but kind of wonder, is A, like, what's the battery life going to be like for that thing? Because, like, if you run, like, a phone, just for example, like, and you're playing games on it all the time, your battery dwindles down quite quickly. So I wonder if they're going to give, like, a secondary charger to that thing. You know what I mean? Like, to the thing you tote around.
I think they have to.
Yeah.
Like, I guess we should say, anybody who didn't see it, Nintendo finally revealed what the NX is, and it's called the Nintendo Switch.
I'm fine with the name. I mean, because it can't be worse than the Wii U, because everybody thought the Wii U was the Nintendo Wii still, even though technically it was different.
Believe me, I know that because when the Wii U came out, I was working in GameStop. So people would be like, that's just like a controller for the Wii, right?
You're like, no.
That's the controller you use, but that's the system. I mean, I don't really care about naming conventions for consoles anyways.
What would you rather have had it called if it wasn't the Switch? Nintendo Transformer? Because that's what everybody keeps on calling the thing.
No, what I'd love is for Nintendo to just go, you know what? We're just going to start publishing games. We're going to take our biggest franchises, and you're going to be able to play them on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC. Just give up. Just give up. Because, honestly, me, like, I don't care that much about graphical fidelity and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I also, and I learned this mistake already this year, or I think it was this year I purchased it. Lesson of buying a single console for one or two game franchises.
So you're basically saying it has to bring the games, like not to coin a phrase or anything, but like what games like would you say like would sell you on the Nintendo? Like if you could play Battlefield 1 because we just were like playing that.
Well, that's my point is I don't need something else to play those games.
Yeah.
I have a system that, I like, everybody can say fanboy, whatever, but I like Sony's, their first party studios, their exclusive games. I'm not as big of a fan of like Xboxes.
Mm-hmm.
And Nintendo's even less so because like even the franchises that I like care about from back when Nintendo was like, the Nintendo that everybody thinks of, like Metroid hasn't had a decent game in years.
Yeah. What was the last one, like Metro M? Not even?
Well, I mean, they released a 3DS Metroid game that was like a co-op shooter that had nothing to do with Metroid. Like,
I don't know. But the one thing I do wonder is, like, what does that mean for the 3DS? Because the way that they are making the Nintendo Switch now, I guess we didn't explain that, but it's an at-home console, but then you can take the controllers off and it turns into almost like a tablet, the best way I can explain it, with two controllers on the side, or you can take the controllers off and play, separately. Like, so, and the games are cartridge-based, which I like because the way cartridges are now, you can support more data on them than Blu-ray disc and DVDs.
Are you trying to say that there's cartridges that hold more than 50 gigs?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
That's how much a Blu-ray holds is 50 gigs. Like
probably.
I mean, maybe I haven't really used the
Well,
cartridge
that like
in a long
from the
time.
couple of videos I've seen is now like the way that they have cartridges, like the one that they're going to slot in, can hold that amount of data or even more than a Blu-ray disc, which kind of blows my mind to think of that way. But I don't know. We'll have to do more research to be exact. But
Well, and I mean, they really didn't even release that much information. Like,
yeah,
they showed the console being played in a bunch of different stupid situations, which, you know, that's marketing. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not docking them because of that.
the guy had to walk his dog. You need to watch. We'll put the trailer on there. And
It's
try not to get sued by Nintendo.
oh no, it's like a public thing, but I guess for me, like, I've had that functionality when I had my Vita with my PS4.
Yeah.
But it is always a downgraded thing. Now that was when you're just streaming the games or getting, you buy the one version, you get it on
The
the
share
others. Yeah. But my thoughts with it is, okay, if that cartridge goes into this system and it plays on either system, I mean, it makes me almost a hypocrite, but like that would mean, the version you play on your TV and on the tablet are the same. How much is it going to hold those games back by being the same on both?
Well, supposedly people are thinking none, which would be the best scenario. Where it's like, because I know what you're saying. Because some people like, is it going to run 60 frames per second or 40 or 30 or whatever? Is it going to have the same screen resolution? Because pretty soon we're going to move into an era where everything's like 4K and everything like that, even 1080. They haven't really covered the resolution or the amount of colors of pixelation for the tablet that the Nintendo, I keep on wanting to say NX, but the Nintendo Switch is going to be at. So they never really covered that. But in the commercial, I'll say I'm still guarded because there's one reason, like, there's two things I'm always guarded with Nintendo. One is they, like, keep people from sharing things or doing gameplay online, which I feel like is so archaic now. Because like I'm even nervous like talking about it. I know this sounds weird, but it's like because they always put cease and desist on people's YouTube pages because they're shared their product, which I think is kind of backwards because technically, yes, the person can be making money off of their trailer, but that publicity is going to be endless, especially somebody who's bigger on, the scale of social media or the scale of like online content and stuff like that. And the second thing is, it's like with the Wii U, like I got the Wii U because one, I like to do party games, like, come to your house and do stuff like that. Or, because I have friends that are like not so much into gaming. That's how I can get them into gaming is to do stuff.
Yeah.
But the library was still so small. So, like you said, I agree with what you're saying. Like, there's a lot of like questions, but like the biggest question would be is how are the games going to relate to each other? Like, is it going to be the same exact thing that you can play on your TV to on the go? Like, how that's going to work out and stuff like that.
And that's how they're trying to sell it. Like me, I guess I sound so negative on it because, quite frankly, like, I've never been a Nintendo kid.
Yeah.
I've never been a Nintendo adult. I thought Wii Bowling was super fun, but I would have never bought a system just to play that.
Yeah.
I feel like they've had like one good Zelda game in like a decade. Like it's just not.
It's not your type.
I'm not the target audience.
Yeah.
Like I love deep RPGs like The Witcher, and I love a good first-person shooter. I like open world games. Like and Nintendo, I'm not the market for what they're aiming for. But to me, even so, with how the Wii U came out, like the thing they need to prove is that third-party developers and publishers are actually interested in making on this thing. Besides Ubisoft, like Ubisoft is like the only publisher
because they got the rabbits.
Yeah, and I mean that's all fine, but like I don't want another Nintendo console generation where these people who they're Nintendo diehards. Nintendo can do no wrong.
Yeah.
And it's like, open your eyes. Like, you can call me a Sony fanboy if you want, but every single one of them has issues.
Yeah.
Microsoft, PCs and the Steam store, they all have their issues, but there's just these people who look at Nintendo as like they can do no wrong, even when like you're proven time and time again, like 3 or 4, 10 out of 10 games on a system that are, exclusives is not enough to warrant
the
purchase
system. For the system itself, yeah.
And I honestly would love to see a alternate timeline where Nintendo they released the Wii, they made massive numbers, they did the Wii U because they went in super confident, and it just confused the market. But I'd love to see a universe where instead of the NX coming out, they would switch over to publishing. So the new Zelda game would come to PS4 and Xbox One. I'd love to see the numbers on how much more money
they would make
if they did that.
Yeah. Well, they need to stop restricting so many things. Like I said, like that's one of my I like Nintendo stuff. Like I have a Nintendo, Super Nintendo, all that happy stuff, and I like some of the games because it's like quick entertainment. Like I also like the games you say that takes like long periods of time and an investment.
Yeah.
But I also do like some of the quick time things. Not quick time. That's not the correct wordage, but where it's more arcadey and it doesn't take that much like brain power to, play the game itself. But
how much of that is nostalgia for you?
It's half and half because there's games that I play that are like Mario based that I can't stand. Like I'll at least give it a shot, you know what I mean, to be fair to it. But then I'm just like, oh, this is terrible. And there's even games I go back to being a nostalgia kid that I go to play and I think to myself, I'm like, how did I even figure this out as a kid? I'm like, these controls are miserable. Mm-hmm. Or like this gameplay is like miserable. So like instead of like even venturing out anymore, like I play the ones that stand more true. So, but beyond that, October, I feel like beyond like it being like fall, like the weather's here, like it's my favorite type of weather. It's very like busy. Like,
oh yeah,
Zach wrote a list down. Like usually, like we both participate this, but he kind of took the forefront of different things we have to cover or like we should cover. I think it's crazy because I forgot how much like we release. So like I think we should talk about some of the movie, trailers that came out.
Yeah, and I mean even to that point about there's so much. Think about how much nerdy TV is going on that we're not even talking about.
Yeah.
The Flash, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow, Gotham, like all these things are like happening.
We haven't even touched on it
yet. But yeah, so earlier this week, I believe it was Tuesday, the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Which I love how they named it.
Oh my, okay, so a little backstory. Guardians of the Galaxy was one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, my brother loves that movie.
And my brother.
Which I'm not blaming him. I'm just
like my brother was there when I saw it, and there's something that's always stuck with me from that movie because, like, I have a bit of a checkered past. Like we won't go into on this show, but there's a line in that movie where Chris Pratt's character says, "The world has given us a second chance to give a shit." And that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
Plus, you can talk to raptors.
That movie sucked.
Real? We're not going to... Okay,
we won't go into that. The book, the original Jurassic Park book is awesome, which I borrowed your copy to read that years ago, years after I saw it. Anyways, so I love this first movie. My fiance loves this movie. Like, it is... And this was before Episode 7 came out. And I remember thinking about Guardians of the Galaxy as the Star Wars sequel we didn't get. When the prequels came out, it was the Star Wars movie, like, it was in space, cool alien characters, funny, like, action-packed, but still smart, not like a dumb action movie, like, and
it wasn't too, like, comic-y, if that makes sense.
No, it was the
characters were relatable.
Oh, yeah. And one of those characters who was super relatable was a fucking talking raccoon.
Tree.
And a tree that
with
can only say
one line.
yeah. Oh, I guess I should say he says, I am Groot. But then he also, the badass moment, spoilers, is he's we are Groot.
Yeah, that got my feels.
Oh man, right in the chest. There's a scene in the first one with Rocket Raccoon, you know, he's drunk and he's talking about, I didn't choose to be this. Mm-hmm. Like, because his character is a normal raccoon who gets, like, spliced DNA and, like, enhancements to his body by these scientists, and that's how he becomes, you know, this walking, talking, badass raccoon.
Yeah.
And there's this line where he's like, I didn't choose this. I didn't ask to be made. And it's like, oh my God, like, that's a deep thing, like, for anybody. Like, I didn't ask to be made, like, when the world's up against you. Anyways, so sequels trailer dropped.
Yeah, and can I say something about the first movie too? There's a lot of movies where, like, the music adds to the film, but I hate to say this because, like, people could probably point out other movies, but I don't remember a movie in so long where the music was almost as important as the storyline itself because it attached to it so well. Because, like, the reason why he listens to the music is amazing. You know what I mean? And I don't know how much you want to spoil it here because it's still, like, not new really, but it still fairly is. Go see it. But he listens to the music for a very specific reason. And then at the end, it comes to a full turnaround where he gets, like, a second tape. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to get too much into it, but he gets a second tape. And that, like, continues that. And it's, like, it's so great because, like, I love things that attach, like, I don't know why, but I found myself almost like a nerd when it comes to, like, music composition. Like, my girlfriend and I will be, like, watching a movie, and I'm like, is this John Williams? Or, you know what I mean? Just for example.
Well, I mean, it's any Tarantino movie you watch.
Yeah.
Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown, like, the music is so intrinsically tied into the plot and the characters and the scene, and, like, that's, you know, and James Gunn nails this. Like, James Gunn has made a lot of movies like Slither and stuff like that, and he nailed this movie because he didn't just come in and make a comic book movie. He made what he would like to see a comic book movie be.
Yeah.
He thought, you know, there's potential in the characters, but you don't just have to do the average blockbuster comic book movie. You could do something different. You could do something strange.
Yeah.
And so now they're back. Everybody's back. You know, the trailer looked awesome because, like,
there's a baby Groot now.
Yeah, and there's, like, the most talking in the trailer is actually a conversation between Star-Lord and Drax, and, like, it's super funny and, like, emotional. Like, he's, like, trying to point out something true to him, but he just can't talk well. So it's...
Do you need a hug? Yeah. He goes and gives him a hug. Like, I didn't ask for this.
Yeah, I didn't ask for this. You know, so, and that's why I look forward to this movie, because once again, you know, he understands it's about the characters, it's about the humor, it's about the fun. Like, it is a fun. Everybody bashes Batman vs Superman and stuff like that because they're not fun. But tell me how much more fun Captain America's Civil War was, or, you know, Thor: The Dark World. Like,
yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy is fun.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. The only thing I was nervous about, to be honest, like, just watching the trailer, that they would take it and make it, like, too much action, which sounds weird considering I like a lot of action in movies or actions in certain Marvel films or whatever. But it's like, I just hope they don't lose touch of the characters, like you said. And I don't think they will.
Which is why I think the trailer was important, that, like, the biggest focus in the scene, you know, they had some, like, clips in there and stuff. But the biggest focus in the trailer was this conversation between two of the characters that was super funny and sweet and just dumb, and, like, neither of them punched each other in the face. Neither of them, you know. But you're gonna get, like, I have no doubt that movie is gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Like, it's everybody's back. The same people are all back. You know, obviously not the bad guys, but, you know, yeah, I am 100% looking forward to that movie. Next summer, I will be in the theater. Somebody will be babysitting Grayson. I will see them.
It'll probably be Zach and I going.
Yeah.
So the other one that came out was Logan. Now, and I didn't get to finish it.
And here's the thing, like...
Because I went to watch it at work. Don't judge me.
Did you like the Wolverine?
The one with where he had the wooden hands? The wooden spikes that came out?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Wolverine Origins?
It's basic. No.
Oh.
The Wolverine.
Oh.
It's the one where he goes to Japan. It's the Silver Samurai is basically the story they're telling. His powers get taken from him at a point. He still has his claws, I believe, but his powers get taken from him.
Yeah.
Basically, that's the director of Logan. And I know you didn't get to finish the trailer, but it looks fucking great. And also, if you watch the international trailer, it looks like we're getting the R-rated Wolverine we've all wanted from the beginning.
Like on the video game.
He straight kebabs a dude's fucking brain. Like, goes up through his chin, out his brain. You just see 3 little points. So I'm hoping, we're going to get the actual R, because this is based on a comic book series called Oh Man Logan. Like, I can already tell it's very different. I understand that. There's a lot of things, but, like, Hugh Jackman's looking old. Patrick Stewart's looking like he's not even alive.
Yeah, which was my favorite part of the trailer that I did get to see was Professor X. That's why I call him Patrick Stewart. Was in the back seat, and I don't know why, but I found that to be so funny in retrospect. If you think about it, like Wolverine's driving a car, and Professor X is in the back seat.
It's important for the story. Like in the context, like if you don't know what's going on, like. Yeah, that's like a dumb fucking thing. You're like, Wolverine's driving a car.
And Professor X is chilling in the back seat.
And he's scared shitless because he's spinning the car. But, like, I can see where you're coming from. At first, I thought you were going to reference a movie or something I've never seen. I was like, no. I've never seen that Patrick Stewart role where he sits in the back seat of a car.
No, it was like Driving Miss Daisy, but with Wolverine as a driver.
I can't walk. Don't flip this thing.
Which I still find very weird. Like, he can control other mutants. He can, like, do all these things, but not to be shitty, but he can't walk.
But, why didn't he ever train Jean Grey to, like... Because she can telepathically communicate as well, just not to the same degree, but she, has the telekinesis, so she can control things with her mind. Like, why, as his, student, why didn't he go, hey, here's a good teaching aspect for you. You need to read my mind, understand where I want to walk. So during days where we're together, you're moving my legs and also reading my mind, so you're working both your mutant muscles at the same time. How badass of a scene would that have been?
He's just a busy guy, I guess.
But
he can't even afford a driver. He has to get Wolverine to do it for him. He should have been wearing the yellow suit.
Would you rather it be the other way around?
I'm sorry. If Professor X was driving, Wolverine was in the back, I would have been done.
Okay, here's the thing. I just realized what's going on here. My brother is hostile towards this movie for one reason.
Why?
X3, The Last Stand.
I hate that movie.
Yeah.
I hate that movie.
He refuses to even see the badass aspects, like Wolverine walking towards Jean Grey as his that skin's so tearing off and regenerating.
I can't even begin. It was one of the few movies I actually walked out of the theater in. Because, listen, Dark Phoenix is her own whole thing, a whole series, and they did it within a 10-minute little segment of this stupid movie, and...
It was set up in the first one.
No, very loosely. Very loosely.
But this was continuity before we had the Marvel movies.
Oh, they put the YouTube part of I'm a Juggernaut.
Oh,
that's fine. Yeah, they put I'm a Juggernaut bitch in the movie as fan service. Get the fuck out of here with the I'm a mutant, I want to be healed and all this horse shit, and Professor X all of a sudden can't do certain things. And then Wolverine out of nowhere can... it's so gay. Sorry. It's so dumb. God. Move on.
Okay. So, that knocks out... Those are the 2 big movie trailers that got released. We talked about the Nintendo Switch was like a system trailer. Another trailer came out. Yeah. And this is for a video game that... Even after the trailer, I'm not excited about, and that's for one reason.
Why?
Red Dead Redemption 2's trailer came out. They teased it starting on Sunday, leading up till today when they released the trailer.
Yeah.
I refuse to get excited for that game, because if I get too excited for that game, I'm not going to want to play any other fucking game that comes out between now
until
and
next fall 2017.
Fall 2017, because I
feel like it's so like I almost don't like that we know it's coming out this early.
I know. Like,
does that sound weird?
Why didn't they do what Bethesda did with Fallout? Fallout, they announced it, 4 months before it released? It's either 4 or 5 months before Fallout 4 came out.
Mm-hmm.
They announced it at E3. They released the iOS and Android game, to get you pumped for it.
Yeah.
Then they started doing marketing, and then the game was out.
Which makes sense. This is like an entire...
Instead, we got a 1.5-minute trailer and a year away. Because fall, it could be literally they release it a year after the trailer.
My brother just broke a pen. Yeah. He's fidgeting around.
And the pen says "We ID Budweiser."
Oh, well, that's nice.
I don't think the beer company themselves ID. Anyways,
they only have to put that because... Anyways.
But yeah, I am super for Red Dead. I put it.
Can you really say you're super excited? Because that's a year's stagnant wait. That's how I've been with my Friday the 13th game. It was supposed to come out because it was Kickstarter.
Good luck. You're going to be waiting till fall 2017.
Yeah, and it was supposed to come out now or this season, fall 2016, which technically goes up to December. But now they're adding a single player, which I appreciate. I'm not saying I don't. And then they're saying it's not going to be released till 2017. I'm like, oh, I was so excited to have a...
He kickstarted this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how excited I was.
And that's why I'm surprised you're not more angry.
Well, because here's the thing. It can't be worse than the Nintendo version of Friday the 13th, where you throw a rock and it goes over things, and the map is all jacked up and stuff like that. But
that's fair. I feel really bad for you because even before we started doing the podcast, he's been talking about this game. He sent me trailers for the game. He's like, "You should really check this out. I think we'll have fun playing this." And
yeah. And I was even I had plans in my mind, these grandeur plans where we'd have a horror night, just come over, make it dark as hell, and play Friday the 13th. We didn't even have this listed, but Friday the 13th or something online. But here's my thing. I'm getting a little bit more upset about it because when they said that they delayed it, it was supposed to be for early 2017. So I was like, okay. I'm I don't know how that's possible considering it's not done now. Or, you know what I mean? At the finalized version now for online only. I'm because I know it takes a whole different process to do single player. Because with single player... you have to do bots and everything, and you have to program it. I don't know all there is about programming, but with online, people control where they go. You know what I mean? When you do bots, you have to program in where those little characters go.
Yeah, they're going to have to make new animations.
They said the next re-release time is spring 2017. And I'm just
you want the truth, though?
It's not going to be until next fall, probably.
They've been talking about doing another reboot of Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th. When do those movies usually come out?
Summertime or
summertime.
So they're going to release it with the movie.
So you're probably going to end up having to deal with. And what happened was they were probably we're going to throw you some extra money, throw a single player campaign in, do whatever, but let's get some brand synergy going. And we'll release them at the same time.
Yeah.
The Friday before the game, or the Tuesday before the movie releases in theaters, get people pumped up, release the game. I hate saying that to you, but I honestly feel
which I don't mind, but what if the movie sucks? I'm not saying it will, but what if the movie sucks and I get home and then the game's coming out? It just and
the single player's based on the movie.
Yeah, because I can see. Because here's the thing: before all this, they didn't have enough money on the funding page to do a single player. Well, now all of a sudden, and this is the thing, they have the money to do single player. I'm so if the movie company or I can't think of who owns Friday the 13th right now. Who
So
owns
was
their...
New Line.
Is it New Line
I
still?
thought New Line had Friday and Friday the 13th.
Do they still? Okay, so let's say... So if New Line invested for them to do a single player, that's one thing like that would make me mad is like I just wish they would let us know or let people know so we could be like, okay, like that's dumb, but now I know kind of like where the money...
But they'd have to have a trailer ready for the movie because if they go around telling all the Kickstarter people, hey, it's getting released with the movie, then all of a sudden those people are going to go online and go, there's a Friday the 13th movie coming out, and then the marketing for the movie would be like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Why did you guys say anything? We're not ready to release these details.
Yeah.
So they probably told you this without any further details now. He looks stressed out right now. Like,
I know the game's going to come. It's just...
Will it?
It better.
Think about how long it took
It
for
better.
Mighty Number 9 to come out.
And then it sucked balls.
And it was terrible. Like, now, this game, it seems like the multiplayer, they already had it all locked down. So hopefully at least it's a situation where regardless if the single player is actually worth the wait and worth playing, at least the multiplayer should be a good, few hours of gameplay. Like,
Yeah,
worth whatever you pay to
you get to
Kickstarter.
murder random people, so that can be fun.
Which level of Kickstarter did you...
Fuck you. Sorry. Sorry. What level did I do? I did where I got a physical copy, and this was before they dropped the price conveniently. So I think I put in like 75 or something. I'll have to look back to be 100% honest. But it was more than a regular game. But I was supposed to get... I'm supposed to get a limited edition cover for my game and stuff like that, Kickstarter exclusive, which I thought was cool. And then I'm supposed to get some like wallpapers and art book. So, and I enjoy art books.
I guess, yeah. Basically, you could look at it as $15 for the art book because the steel case, that's like a pre-order bonus for like PS3
I don't even know if it's
360
going to be a steel case. Now I hate you because when I initially invested, I thought it was going to come out in fall.
And that's why, like,
this is taking over the podcast.
Like, no matter what, I can't. There's just a fundamental like issue with me where I can't look at a Kickstarter and go, I trust them. How about I just give you fucking money when the game's done? You're doing the marketing.
There's another Kickstarter that I did invest in, and it came really cool. The Exploding Kittens. I Kickstarted that too, and that game was awesome. What? You never played it?
I don't think so.
It's a card game.
You said it like everybody knows what the Exploding Kittens.
It's a card game.
Kittens with bombs.
All right. Oh, this is way off topic, but this is a guy that makes comics. It's called the Oatmeal. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Nope.
Okay, I'll have to share it with you. Jeez Louise.
What my son eats?
Yes, basically. And this gentleman, he created on Kickstarter a card game called Exploding Kittens. And it's hilarious, and there's like a lot of comedy in it. And I invested in that, and I got that in the mail on time. Thank you.
Is it like Cards Against Humanity?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Because every card game these days seems to be Humanity is. There's another one. Well, we'll have to play that.
Well, not the Oregon Trail. Just recently got that too as a card game.
Oregon Trail.
Yeah. Oh, I said Oregon.
No, it doesn't matter. I was just making sure that's what you said. Like,
yeah.
We both have head colds like going on. He's coming down. I'm going up. And
which sounds like a really cool hip hop song.
One of my ears feels like it's like swollen shut.
Yeah, mine feels like there's like ocean in there.
Yeah, I tried to clean it out.
An ocean.
But you're holding a seashell to your ear.
How that?
He is. Like, he keeps doing this joke. He keeps saying.
He's so dumb because there's no video in here, so he could say literally anything and it can be true. There's an elephant in the room or something.
We should probably tackle the elephant in the room, which is Call of Duty and Battlefield.
Okay. That's fine, because you just had me play the intro for Battlefield 1, and I do not want to get Call of Duty anymore. I don't even want to. I just want to get Battlefield.
So we were very much like, I don't know, I was coming from it from like a childish aspect where I was looking forward to Call of Duty because, I haven't really got sucked into one like super good in a while, and some of the stuff in it sounds cool. And I was looking at Battlefield 1, I was like, you can't do this. You can't have a World War I game that's going to be realistic or even give a shit about how devastating that war was, because, like,
it every war is devastating, but
Yeah.
World War I and II, I think still has the highest kill count.
But even two,
which isn't a count you should be like familiar with, but you know.
But even two, it was like straight up pure good versus evil. Like the Japanese,
depending on your aspect of good and evil. Oh,
well, what were the Nazis okay?
I'm just saying. Depends.
Which war are you talking about?
I'm just saying. It depends on what. It depends.
America was the good guys. Like, here's the thing: like the Allies, like we were called allies for a reason.
We didn't even get involved at first.
Yeah, and then somebody woke up the sleeping giant. Like that's.
We were like, oh, things are happening to Jewish folk over there. That's fine.
No, we didn't know about that yet.
We probably did.
No, nobody did. Like.
I'm just playing around.
I know.
I'm just giving.
You're like agitating me because we both know history, and he's like fucking around with history, like, oh, who's the good guy and the bad guy? I don't get it. Who's the bad guy?
He stressed me out on my Friday the 13th.
Okay.
Excuse me.
So World War I was a different thing. It was a bunch of leaders at this like turn of the century who had all these new weapons that they had been working on and building up, and they had nothing to use them. Because everybody was like in, shaky agreements, but agreements nonetheless. And then one dude, Franz Ferdinand, gets fucking killed after a parade, because people didn't like him there. And then the whole world is just like, everybody's finding excuses to go to war.
Yeah.
This was like, everybody wanted to go to war. They're like, let's fucking do this. And, patriotism and all that. And it was like, devastating. And like, the battlefield itself would like tens of thousands would die for less than a mile of land.
Yeah.
A few hundred meters. Like, and I was like looking at this going, well, they're gonna like just fucking shit all over like the
make it like a complete run and gun.
Yeah, World War II, it was like, yeah, let's go shoot some fucking Nazis in the face, And even though, there was a lot of German soldiers, who weren't supporters of the Nazi party, like Saving Private Ryan has a great scene where there's a German soldier sitting on this hill waiting to get taken into like a POW, camp by the Americans. And I forget exactly how the conversation starts up, but the like characters you're following, and actually I think that was on the show. Band of Brothers or Saving Private Ryan, and basically he walks by and the one guy, has an accent, and he's like, "Oh, where are you from?" And he's like, "Brooklyn." And he's like, "Oh, Harlem or whatever," and it's a German soldier, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing in a crowd, outfit?" And he's like, "I had to go home to protect the motherland." Like
I think that was Band of Brothers, actually.
I think it was because I think it was the one Italian dude or whatever. But, so, yeah, sure, not every German in World War II was bad, but, like, it was the Nazis and the Japs and, all that against, the Allied forces, and there was a serious thing going on. But World War I was very much more of, like, who's really bad here? And that's why, once again, another war where America's across the ocean, we're just like, we're not going to get involved.
Mm-hmm.
Until our closest allies were like really getting shit down their throat, and then America's like, "Well, you fucking lazy bastards." I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. Like, fucking America rules. Anyways, so this is a completely different conflict. I thought they were just gonna, fucking glamour up World War One.
Yeah.
And then I played that first mission in the game, which is like prologue. It happens before you do anything else in the game. You don't start in the multiplayer. You don't start the other. It's a prologue. And I almost don't want to spoil it, but at the same time, I want to get it on record that it is. I don't know how you felt. Like, I just watched him play it. He was really into it. He was shoveling the fuck out of people.
Yeah.
He used a shovel as a weapon. But there's a thing that they do.
We can go ahead and. Okay, I'll just say it from my perspective because that would probably help out. When I play games, I die a lot. I mean, it's not even fair I die so often. And it's not because I'm, like, super terrible. It's just, like, sometimes it's, like, so much environment for my, like, brain to take in that by the time I realize, like, I need to go or do something else, especially if a game wants you to funnel somewhere, I'm dead. And that game, Like, you start off with somebody and you're like you're going, and then I died. And I was like, oh my God. And then it puts up the date of that person's lifespan. And that could go anywhere from 16 to 18 or 20, blah, blah, blah. And then it goes to another person.
Mm-hmm.
And then the same thing happened. And I'm like, man, I am sucking at this game. But it's very intentional. And I won't tell you why it's intentional. Well, I guess you can figure it out for yourself.
Well, I mean, we're kind of spoiling it anyways, and sorry, but like, if this gets you to play this game, I'm willing to spoil this for somebody. It's the first thing. It's the first 20 minutes you play this game.
Yeah, because typically when you play a game like that, the character you start with is the character you go out through the whole adventure with. This was like, oh yeah, I'm starting with this character. Oh, I'm doing awesome, killing the shit out of Nazis. Shovel death, chopping off their fucking heads and stuff. And then next thing I know, he's gone. Like, that guy is gone. And that could have been a real life person. And then you're transferred to somebody else. Mm-hmm. You're like, okay, that guy died, but it almost like self-motivates you. You're like, all right, now I'm going to do it better with this guy. Then that guy dies, and you're just
it starts getting depressing.
Yeah,
it weighs on you.
And then by the time it was over, like, because I just literally played it, so it's like really fresh in my mind. By the time that like prologue was over, and I threw quotes in here like you can actually see them, but by the time that prologue was over, I like sat back. I'm like, I just want this game now.
Yeah, he threw his hands up and he's like, "That's it, I'm buying it. Let's go." He literally said, "Let's go report this podcast because I want to play this game." Like, and that was the effect. You know, we had been talking about it while we were eating and stuff, and there's other awesome aspects to the multiplayer, but that whole concept of, and it, I didn't want to say anything in the moment, but you read the line, the very last line they show you before the mission starts, and you were like, huh. You laughed, and the line was, you were not expected to survive.
Yeah, you're not expected
to survive. And that was the game
game
telling you, no, your character's going to die.
Yeah.
The other character's going to die, and you're going to keep dying, and then, like, the person you see in the opening, like, trailer, not trailer, but, like, the opening cutscene, you were not that character. Like,
no.
That was just the last man, one of the last man standing on the, it's breathtaking. The rest of the campaign that I've started going into, once again, it's basically you have that prologue mission, and then you have 5 different campaigns. They're like 2 to 3 missions each. You can do them in whatever order you want at any time, and they are very much like, they have these super interesting stories and characters, and also mission objectives. But then also they are like a rare example of like a super good tutorial.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have flying missions, because there's planes in the game. You have tank missions, which is like the first one you do. You have ground combat. You have horseback, because you play as a messenger in one. Like, it's super fascinating. I'm looking forward to playing more of the campaign, but the multiplayer keeps drawing me, which we don't really need to talk about too much yet because John hasn't played it. Like, if you want to get that game, it comes out Friday for $60. The only reason I have it is because I did the early enlister thing, so I got to start playing Tuesday. But
the other thing I wanted to say too is, like, I don't know if you saw me doing it, but it was funny because, like, I've probably said this before, but I'm a military veteran. So in the military, they train you on specific ways to handle enemy situations. So, like, I was, like, flanking out, or, like, I don't know how to say this, but I was kind of going towards more like an L formation. And what an L formation is, it literally is shaped like an L. And what that is supposed to do is, like, break the enemy down, because you, like, kind of put them in a very...
You engulf them.
Yeah, it's like you have, like, one side on the left and then one side on the right, or whatever. And so, like, my main fire was coming from the left. And I was like, oh, I got this, so I went to go out towards the right. Like, even though technically I was by myself, I'm like, this makes so much sense because they're all shooting towards the left. And the thing I liked about it was the enemy was intelligent enough, which was cool. Because, like, with the team, it's easier. But, like, when you go by yourself, like, the enemy was smart enough to see, like, I was plucking off their guys from the right-hand side because I was by this building. And so they started coming towards me. They send a secondary team towards me. And I literally had there's no such thing as retreat. In the military, you retrograde to your position. So I, like, retrograded back to my original point. And I'm like, I need a different gun because I was, like, out of ammo, you know, because, like, because the most amount of ammo I carried was, like, 280 rounds, 5.56. On that game, it limits you because they didn't have that much on them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
like you got to figure like what you were standing up against was doorways to buildings that are no longer there.
Yeah, there's nothing there.
like when they say fall back to the church, you're falling back to a church that is just like some pillars.
Crumbles.
And you can tell like John was super into it. He's like, I'm gonna go over here. Oh shit. Oh, and then you run over, you pick up a different gun. He's like, not that gun, that's too slow. There's too many of them.
Yeah.
Drop that, pick up another gun.
Yeah, because it like had me like next to a pistol, so I went to pick it up, because I didn't recognize the weapon, that it was, because obviously because I'm from a newer generation, so I only understand like M4s, 203s, 249s, 240 Bravos, and stuff like that. This was like, like a Mosin Nagant, which I'm familiar with, but I'm saying just for example. And then it had like a Beretta on the ground, but it wasn't a Beretta. It was the old school name for it. And I apologize for any weapons aficionados because I only know the new generation stuff or the current generation stuff. And like, there's so many people. I was trying to shoot them with the pistol. I was like, fuck this! I need my other weapon. So yeah, I want to get it so bad now. It's like gonna kill me.
But I mean, yeah. But that brings us to the fact that. So we had been, talking about Call of Duty coming out and how we're going to, be able to talk about that and stuff. Fortunately, I still will, because I digitally pre-ordered, which means I can't cancel my pre-order, which I'm still fine with because I'm getting Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
So even if I hate the other one, like at least I'm getting Modern Warfare and I can play that online.
Yeah.
Though the campaign for Call of Duty this year sounds super fascinating.
Yeah.
There's no loading. You're either on the ground fighting, up in space fighting, in your hub ship, where you can like change your weapons and stuff and talk to your like allies, or you're watching a cutscene. Like that's super fascinating. If it's like a, and with all that, it sounds like it could be at least 10 hours. If it's 10 hours of fun, plus I got the other, Modern Warfare, I'm fine with. But I played the beta. It's Black Ops 3. They have not changed a fucking thing.
Like, which I haven't got to yet, so
like
I look forward to when I do.
I still think the best Call of Duty in the longest time was Advanced Warfare. And the mobility in that was completely different from Black Ops 3 and then now Infinite Warfare.
Mm-hmm.
Like you had, I don't even know how to explain it. Like the mobility just felt better in that game. The technology seemed more grounded and down to earth and realistic. You're still shooting fucking bullets. Like now you're shooting laser guns.
Really?
And like I can be fine with that
because it's like new or something,
but I mean honestly,
is it like the laser guns on the zombie? I guess I don't know how far you got into that, but in Black Ops 3 zombie mode, you can get these guns that shoot lasers, literally. So it's like Mars attacks or something.
Yeah, there's laser guns in Infinite Warfare. Like, also,
I watched a video of it. And somebody playing. I don't know.
It looked like Call of Duty.
Yeah,
but like,
I'll try it, I guess.
Yeah, you can try it, and I'm sure we'll end up playing it together, like either on shared play
there's only like 4 classes, like you can be a human.
No, there's like 6, but in the beta they only have 3 available. One, you're like a normal middle of the road human. One, you're like a bigger, bulkier human who can like take more damage, moves a little bit slower than the other ones. And then also there's fucking robots.
Robots.
And the robots are like weaker apparently, but the longer you run, the faster you run. So like every match I played in, I'd have to say at least 80% of the players were the robots because it's Call of Duty. People want to go fast, so they're just robots running around in circles. Like, and I was like, wow, aesthetically this has changed, and feeling wise this has changed, but like not in a good way, not in the way that I want.
It's gonna sound weird, like ever since like Advanced Warfare, like Call of Duty has reminded me a lot of the movie Elysium. You ever seen that with Matt Damon?
Yeah, that's why it was fucking awesome.
Yeah,
like it's just it seemed like something that the military would have thrown together and been able to mass produce, and that was awesome. In Black Ops 3, you're like basically a cyborg. You're half robot.
Yeah.
But in Advanced Warfare, you literally just had a rig, an exosuit.
Yeah,
that's what they call it. Which those they're already developing now. Like, yeah, sure, they're not out on the battlefield right now in real life, but it's realistic technology that they're working on and looks super like, it almost looks like a Star Wars type thing where it's like super low budget, but yeah, it's a military
It's like
contract.
attainable,
And,
yeah.
you know, they don't have all the money in the world to do what they need to do and protect the like soldiers who are enlisted. So yeah, like they throw these together to make them more agile, more mobile. Like, yeah, and the story in Advanced Warfare was super cool. Like,
I like the space shootout scene, but I kind of wish they put that in multiplayer, even though it's not really practical. Like to have everybody in space. You remember the very beginning? It's like,
that's Ghosts.
is that Ghost?
Ghost is the one where you start in the like.
I thought that was
space
no. Advanced
station.
Warfare is the one where the Earth is like getting destroyed. And stuff.
No, that's Ghost.
Man, maybe I like Ghost more than Advanced Warfare. What am I thinking?
You're the only person on Earth then. Ghost. I've tried playing through Ghost like 6 times.
Yeah.
Fuck.
My favorite thing of Advanced Warfare is the I don't even know what it's called, but the where it's round based. It's like it's on gears. I can't think where the bots come.
Horde?
Yeah, the horde mode. I love that. I don't know why. I just like love the shit out of it. Because like you can upgrade. There's like 3 stations you can. This is like a whole different game we're talking about now. But there's 3 different stations where you can upgrade. Like you can get like different like bombs and stuff like that, or upgrade your like skill, which is like could be a turret or whatever. So I don't know, but yeah, I'll still play Infinite Warfare beta. It's downloading on my PS4 as we speak. So by the time I get home, it should be done. Because now I actually have legitimate internet.
And he may end up enjoying it, but I still think like I played the beta and like regardless, I'm stuck with Call of Duty, so it doesn't really matter.
But I have a choice.
But to me, like I'm enthralled with Battlefield. I think it's granted. All right, full disclosure: the game is basically a World War II shooter. Like the conflicts you're in, like you're fighting the Reich, you're not fighting the Nazis yet. You know, the Ottoman Empire still exists. Like there's all these things that are World War One. A lot of the weapons are World War One era for like the bolt action and like slower weapons, but they even say in like one of the first sections you play, it's late in the world or late in the war. So it's deeper into the war. And there's a lot of prototype weapons, essentially, is what they did. They, you know, and they make no bones about it. It's not like they say at the beginning of the game, this is the most realistic depiction. It's not.
Yeah, because it would be cool if like you're shooting the gun and it like freezes up on you because
you're in the sand.
Yeah.
Like you don't have an AK, which like you can't stop an AK, but that fucking gun you probably can. Like so, there's a lot of automatic weapons. There's like technically rocket launchers to attack tanks. You just have to go prone to use them. Like there's all these little things that are, you know,
makes it still a game.
Yeah, to where it's still like,
because if it was uber realistic, people wouldn't play it, to be honest.
No, like
you know,
they would not. If you didn't have automatic weapons in an online multiplayer shooter that's $60 in 2016, nobody would fucking buy it.
No. Even though it'd be sweet just to try it out.
And I feel like EA and DICE realized that. So for the multiplayer, they kept it to where it's fast-paced and fun and over the top and not super realistic. But I feel like that's why they're taking their time in the single-player campaign to show the emotional toll that this war had on people.
Yeah.
Because it, like, you play as a single character in each of the chapters. And I want to get further out. Hopefully have more time to play it, and I'll get into it, you know, next week or whenever the next podcast is and talk about it then. But it seems like if the first 2 sections I played are any indication, they're using the campaign as 1, a tutorial, and 2, as a way of showing like how devastating this war was.
Yeah.
And how so little of it made sense. And they all thought it was like the war to end wars.
Mm-hmm.
This was a time when they called it the Great War.
Yeah, which is weird to say with the word war after it, unless you're talking about WWE. Raw is war.
Yeah, but then also you got to figure like before World War II happened, they called it the Great War, the war to end all wars, because they didn't think there'd be another one.
No, but you know, people get bored. I think.
Well, no, after the Reich, fucked up so bad, we, destroyed their country and left them kind of their own devices and had them pay restitution. So all the people's taxes were going to other smaller countries, which gave rise to a man who I'm pretty sure at one point during World War One was locked up in prison because he was a little bit of a fanatic. And during which time he wrote Mein Kampf.
You know what happened? He was a painter, and somebody told him, that's not good painting, bro. And I feel like that's how it all started.
And that's the thing. That little troll was lying because the dude supposedly was an awesome artist for people who like art.
Yeah.
And it's like,
so somebody trolled Adolf, and Adolf was like, I kill you.
yeah.
I get it. But to move along, so you put, you wanted to say something real quick about Mafia 3, and then we're going to get into our horror movie thing since we're still in October.
Mafia 3 is real quick. I was super happy with that game the last time we did the podcast. I thought it was, I tried to change up the way I was playing it. Dude, man, I've full 180, and I feel like this game is the perfect game of why demos, I'm kind of fine with there being less demos in the world. Because the opening couple hours of that game are awesome. It's unique. It's different. And then everything changes.
Oh, really? I haven't got to that.
Well, no, you have. You just don't realize it. Think about how unique the objective were. You must have gone to a park, I should say, a theme park at this point, right?
Theme park? Yes, I've already done the theme park thing.
Okay, that's still at this point in the game the coolest mission I've done in that game.
Yeah, that's pretty cool because it's interactive and everything like that, but...
Yeah, and that's the thing.
I'm still mad about the car thing.
See, he's full of crap, though. The character has a car, and you can summon... Whatever, I'm not defending this game anymore, because still, it's doing the race stuff really well. It's not heavy-handed in a way that it's fuck Whitey or anything like that. It's no, this is the way it was. We still have some of these problems today. Fuck.
Yeah.
But the documentary style is still cool, but I don't do this ever, but I dropped this game down to easy and was playing through it just to get through these fucking last couple. I think I only have 2 rackets left. And before you came over, I died once on easy and went, fuck this, and immediately went back to Battlefield.
You're
because I'm tired of it.
Yeah, because that's the one thing about the game's downfall is the story's good, the driving sometimes is very annoying because there's no fast travel, and the graphics that's a toss up depending on what you're looking at, but it can be very monotonous. Because I'm even trying the thing that you told me to, skipping certain I guess it's not skipping an objective, but skipping
the ones you're getting finished.
Yeah, instead of going and doing everything, I've been skipping that, and it's still okay, I gotta go take on these goons. Okay, I gotta go to... And it's all about subtracting money from them, and it's just and it's the same thing, I feel like I'm at a pretty, further part into the game, because I did everything for the Irish guy. I'm working on doing for something, I can't even remember.
Oh, I haven't done a single loyalty.
Yeah,
I didn't even do those.
I've been trying to even do the side missions just to break it up, which sounds weird, but okay, this is, oh my god, not to hark on this game, but I don't know if my game is broken, but it'll tell me I have an objective to do, a side mission to do, and I'll drive my ass all the way to do it, and it won't be there for me to do.
No, you're not the only one.
That
was in some reviews and stuff that they get to the objective and it's just not there.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't even... After I reached that point where I was I'm going to skip a lot of the smaller shit.
Yeah.
You don't even need to do those loyalty missions. There's no reward for them.
Because
you don't add money to their rackets, which adding rackets and districts are what unlocks.
Well, the way that I thought it was, because you told me that, the way I thought it was supposed to be was if I did those additional things, it would produce more loyalty, which would produce more money.
Nope.
Well, fuck it.
What it literally does is it gives you some extra cutscenes and conversations, and most of them are just conversations where it's still in game. It's just a character sitting on a couch and your character staring at them and they talk.
Yeah.
But the loyalty, the only way that comes in is when you take out the 2 rackets, like take out the 1 racket, take out the guy ahead of it, the lieutenant or whatever. You give that racket to one of your 3 people.
Yeah.
Right? You take out the other racket in that district. You can give it to one of your other people, one of your other persons, or give it to the same person you gave the first one.
Yeah.
Then you go kill the underboss in charge of that district. Once that's done, then you decide who to give the district to. And what that does is, like, let's say you gave the 2 rackets in that district to Burke, and then you turned around and gave the district to Cassandra. Those 2 rackets leave him. She's in charge of it.
Oh.
He gets pissed off.
So then he has like a thing against you or whatever?
Yeah.
So.
Then apparently, I won't spoil it, but I did some reading on it because I was just like you. I was like, I thought these loyalty missions were supposed to do something. Nope, just conversations.
Oh, that's nice. Well, then I'm going to stop doing that. All right, we're a little bit over time, but I want to get our horror thing in real quick, if that's okay with you.
I mean, to be honest, the fiance and the baby are gone right now, so if we want to go for another 15, 20 minutes, it's fine.
Okay, then that's fine with me too. So the one question I wanted to ask you, horror related, I still think you should buy Mafia 3, at least to try it out. Maybe wait till it goes down in price.
Yes, get it when it's on sale.
Because the story is so cool how they're doing. I'm not saying it's cool because it's weird saying that because it's like it's a really bad thing that happened, like, because it's during Vietnam. There's still a lot of racial tension. So you got to imagine a guy, especially me being a veteran, like, I served with all races, colors, religion. It didn't matter. Like, we're all one person. Mm-hmm. To imagine him coming home, or a person coming home and not being respected, and that could be foolhardy me to say, but not be respected because he was in during that time, kind of like pisses me off. You know what I mean? So
it literally puts you in his shoes. Like, it is the lowest form of being in somebody's shoe. Like, you're not African American. It's not this, late 60s, anything like that. But it's like you're walking down the street and somebody calls you the N-word just to call you the N-word, or constantly calling you boy, like you're, a slave still. Like, that stuff they nail. But part of me almost feels like you could literally go onto YouTube, watch a complete walkthrough of the game, skip watching the rackets getting taken over and the underbosses getting killed, just watching the main, like, contract, like, targets you have getting killed, those story missions, and then up through the ending. I almost feel like it would be more entertaining that way because, or if this game would have came out in the summer, perfect. Play less video games in the summer. I'm outside more. I have an hour on a rainy day, go knock out 2 rackets, move on with my day. Come back, it would be like a TV show. Play it here and there. But like in the fall, it's like, if I got free time, I'm going to play some games. Yeah. And to try, because I was trying to, like, mainline this game before other games start coming out, and fuck, man, I got burnt out. Like,
you're trying to, like, rush through it, but it's like, because, like, there's certain games there's certain games you can, like, rush through and still be fine and still get the whole story. But this one, like, even when you're rushing through, because I've been doing, like, what you told me to, I'm still, like, I like, ejected the game to watch. I've been watching, like, a TV show just to, like, break up the monotony.
Yeah, like,
I've been watching, like, Friday Night Tykes.
I was trying to, like,
which
get
is a
through
show
it.
About Pee Wee football.
Oh, jeez. I was trying to get through it. I couldn't. But that's, for me, I feel like, if the game was $30, or if they released it in the summer, or maybe you get it with, like, a deluxe edition, because I think 2 story DLCs are coming out, then pick it up. But right now, like, it would have been better if it was just, like, almost like a linear story, or it's hard. Like, anyways.
So the one question I had for you was, I guess that's bad. Do you have a guilty pleasure horror movie that you like? So, for example, the example I gave him before the podcast was, like, I'm not saying this one's good, but it's just an example. So don't go berate me online. But, like, House of Wax, for example, obviously is, like, a horrible movie, but some people might find pleasure in
every movie is somebody's favorite movie. Have you ever heard that?
No.
You've never heard that saying? Every like you could do it with anything. Every song, every book, every movie is someone's favorite movie.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Think about that.
Who would their favorite movie be? House of Wax. There's no way that person exists.
Have you been on the internet? That person exists. I guarantee you. Somebody who loves Paris Hilton.
Probably the director. Because I was watching the special. This is totally like me self-proclaiming.
I've never even seen this.
I was watching the special features of it because, like, beyond the horribleness of the movie, the idea was kind of interesting in a horror way because there's this town that makes, and it has these like killers in it or whatever, and it takes people alive and encases them in wax, and then you die within the wax. Yeah, okay. Well, anyways, I was watching the special features on that, which is great because I didn't realize one of the actors on that movie is from Supernatural.
Yeah, and they did an episode of Supernatural with Paris Hilton where they make fun of that movie.
Yeah, well, here's the funny thing, is one of the special features has them all sitting on a couch and going over B-roll of a film. You know, because the movie you see, that's the one that's already been cut. Mm-hmm. Well, the B-roll is, for people that don't know, is everything that the editor had to break down. And you can see, like, Paris Hilton's into it, having fun. There's another girl into it. The dude from Supernatural is doing the knee shake. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, I don't know why I'm in here. You know what I mean? Like,
I want a career.
Yeah, you can tell like he wants to be anywhere but there. So,
Supernatural's awesome.
Anyways, so what is your guilty pleasure horror film? I have to know because you told me you had one.
See, mine, like, I feel like it's got. I honestly don't remember if this movie was well received. I feel like it's impossible that it was, but my guilty pleasure horror movie that I plan on watching this year with Emily is 13 Ghosts.
Ah, that's a great one.
Like,
see, I thought I wouldn't agree with yours.
It is a garbage movie. Like,
it's not really garbage. I don't know how I want to defend it.
No, I feel like if we were to watch that right now, it's not a good movie, but it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess part of this is
there's a guy that gets split in half by plate glass. It's great.
Like, there's like runes essentially written on the like glass that like can stop the like ghost from getting you. You can only see the ghost with these stupid glasses. Like, it stars Matthew Lillard and Monk.
Yeah. The guy from Scooby-Doo. I can only remember him from Scooby-Doo for some reason.
Matthew Lillard?
Yeah. What's his other movie? See, you can even think of it.
Without a Paddle?
Without a Paddle, okay.
Wait, was that him?
Yeah, that was him. Because...
Yes.
Yeah. Because he's the one
Scream.
Oh, yeah, I guess Scream. I
he's
forgot
in the
about
first
that.
Scream.
Oh, I feel bad now because I only remember him from
last fall, I watched every single Scream movie except for, like, the newest one that's like almost a remake, but it has like the old characters.
Anyways, back to 13
Okay, so 13 Ghosts, like that, like, I know that's not a good movie, but I still remember that movie gave me nightmares like fuck when I was a kid because
really
the thought of being in this like
house with all these monsters.
It's a glass house.
Yeah.
Okay. And that should mean technically that you can see everything anywhere. Okay? But in reality, he releases ghosts into the fucking building.
The lawyer does.
Which means there's ghosts everywhere. But you can only see them with these glasses, and it's like, to be fair.
In Scary Movie, by the way, my friend told me I should reference Scary Movie as much as I can to every episode. And Scary Movie makes fun of it because they put on the glasses. He's like, you should be able to see any type of...
Me and Emily watched that movie after we did the podcast, and I was like, I want to watch 13 Ghosts this October because, like, I knew that's what they were referencing.
Yeah.
But the thing is like, there's a DVD release of the movie. And the really cool thing they did, and because, like, with me, like, any good horror movie has a good story to it.
Yeah.
I don't get scared. I don't get terrified. I like a good ghost story.
Yeah.
I like a good monster story, whatever. I like a good story. And I feel like horror is like a cool genre to play with that. Like, so what they did on the 13 Ghosts DVD, which they didn't do in the movie, was every single one of the 12 ghosts. Because technically the 13th ghost
was the monk guy.
Was it the monk or was it his wife?
No, wait, that's a good question. No, he had to be the 13th ghost.
So she was the 12th?
She was the 12th because she burned up in the fire. And then for all
the something mother. So, yeah, so what we're talking about is, like, the movie has lore where it's like there's these 13 ghosts that have to do this. I don't remember.
There was a summoning that they had to do, and the 13th ghost would release the gates of hell into the world. And it was this guy that created it. That was their...
I thought he was trying to get money. I thought there was something else that...
No, it was just like an evil plan, I'm pretty sure.
I thought that was the twist, is like he reveals his evil plan, but then it turns out, no, he was trying to gain this power to be immortal.
Yeah, he was trying... This is something... God.
I need to watch that movie.
Yeah, me too. Because
it's been long enough.
The scene is playing in my mind, but I can't remember exactly, like...
Because, like, you think he's dead, and, like, then he comes back, and they think, oh, it's the really dumb fucking cool scene where they see him walking up, and it's his uncle. He sees the uncle walking up with his throat slit, thinking he's a ghost because he has the glasses off.
Yeah.
And then he takes the glasses off,
and he's still there.
Because he's not a ghost.
Well, and I think that's when he tells him, he's like, you're the 13th ghost.
But, God. But all I'm saying is then on the DVD, they had, like, for all the 13 ghosts, they had backstories.
Yeah, which I think is really cool.
And the backstories were actually well thought out, pretty badass. Like,
they had the one guy that was the jackal.
Yeah, they had the jackal. Oh, the jackal's fucking... Like, think about how terrifying that movie was if you're a little kid when you see it.
It's fine. I said Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah. That was the Banshee. They had this one girl that was a Banshee. I think her name was...
No, the jackal was the one with, like, the...
I thought the jackal was the guy with the baseball bat.
No, that was the Juggernaut. Wait, no.
Now we have to watch the movie.
Was the black guy with the nails in him Juggernaut?
Yeah, I think he
there's like Juggernaut, Jackal.
I can't remember.
Man, I'm so excited to watch this movie.
Yeah, me too. Like, I wonder if I have it at my house.
I don't think I do, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So that's mine, and yeah, that's that. I remember it from my childhood. It actually gave me nightmares, which was rare.
Yeah.
Like, Sixth Sense gave me nightmares when that came out because I was a little kid, and I was like, yeah, Mom and Dad, I can handle it.
Yeah.
And then I ended up sleeping on their floor that night. Like, I was terrified.
Before everyone knew what the ending was of Sixth Sense, they were all terrified.
What is your guilty pleasure horror movie?
I actually have two that I can think of now, because 13 Ghosts reminds me of the original of this movie, but the remake I like watching because it's like dumb fun, but House on Haunted Hill. The remake version.
See, I told Emily, I was like trying to think of what it was. I was like, I'm pretty sure there's some terrible like 90s horror movie that I never saw that I always wanted to because it looked really bad.
Yeah.
And
it's the remake of House on Haunted Hill, probably.
And I saw it on Blu-ray at like it was at Meyer. I was like, that's the one. Like, I want to watch that.
Yeah.
Like, but we didn't pick it up, but like, I want to watch that because that sounds terrible.
Yeah, well, because the thing is, it's Vincent Price is the guy. He has this like roller coaster company. Like, he is a professional making people scream, more or less. Well, he wanted to invite these people to this house for his wife's birthday or something. I can't remember exactly. Basically, it turns out like the house is haunted, and then them going around, like, they start seeing shit. So, like, they see, like, ghosts or they see something happening, and then they get entrapped into it, and they end up, like, dying. And the thing is like, whoever lasts throughout the night wins all this... wins all this money or whatever. And then the funny thing is the money ends up being on, like, paper that technically has no value, so all they did is live at the end. And it's not very good. I mean, but I watch it because it's like...
Well, I think I want to watch that now, and we should talk about that next week. If I can find time between now and the next podcast.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, like, watch that, because...
I want to do a deep dive on that one.
Well, I want to refresh on 13 Ghosts now, because I think it's a good movie, but me and my brother...
Well, no, what I'm saying, like, a guilty pleasure is like most people think it's a terrible movie. And I guarantee you ask most horror aficionados, like, what do you think of 13 Ghosts? They're like, you're a fucking idiot.
You're dumb. This guy's the guy from Scooby-Doo. All right, so my main true one does. That's all. I know he was on the first Scream, but wait, there's more. That's. I mean, beyond that, The Feast trilogy.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, yeah. If you don't know what the Feast trilogy is, finish the podcast, go watch them, because you got Feast, the first one, Feast 2, Sloppy Seconds, and then Feast 3, I can't remember the subtext title for it, but in Feast 3, they have a kid that is basically Karate Kid, and he's trying to, like, rescue this chick, and he gets eaten by one of the Feast monsters. It is great. In the first Feast film, like, the monster, like, does the lady in the mouth or whatever, and, like, they blow it up. Oh, my God. Like, it's so bad.
That movie...
Do you remember the first one? Like,
that movie, the first, like, 15 minutes are the best part of that entire trilogy, but they're fun. And what happened is it was a Project Greenlight movie, which was the show that Matt Damon and Ben Affleck do, where they, like, have a reality show for independent directors to pitch their movie, and they'll fund one.
Yeah.
That's the one they funded. It failed. The director decided he's still going to make the next
And
two.
he stayed dedicated.
And you saw progressively the budget
Just
like it became like 50 cents.
It's like watching, like, it's like going from, like, watching, like, a super, I don't know, but
First 15 minutes when the guy's like, I'm the guy that's gonna save all your asses.
He's like, I'm the guy to save all your ass, and he, like, cocks a shotgun, and a fucking monster just grabs him through the window and kills the shit out of him. And it's like, that's great. Like,
see, I don't think the first one is a guilty pleasure,
but the second and third one are probably
fucking yeah.
I had to add the whole trilogy, because the second one, like, one of the monsters goes to impregnate a person, and then the third one, I can't remember them all.
Don't they, like, catapult a fucking midget?
Well, a little person.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, jeez. Awkward.
But I'm pretty sure there's a scene where they either shoot him out of a cannon.
Yeah, they do.
At the, like.
Yeah, they do, and they steal a lot of Dawn of the Dead, the remake, or even the original, because they stay on. Oh my God, you have to watch it. And
it's real dumb.
Finally, there's one movie I wanted to talk about, like, real quick. I watched the remake of Dawn of the Dead, and I really enjoy it.
Dude, I will defend that movie to the grave. I'll talk on that one.
Like,
I love that movie.
I looked online and it didn't receive that many good, like...
No, people hated it.
But why? I don't get it. It has Ving Rhames in it. And, I mean, that's really all you need to know.
Okay, you got to figure, if that movie came out right now with how popular Walking Dead is, people would love that movie.
Would eat it up.
It came out before the zombie craze, so most of the people going to see that movie would have been the people who were fans of the original.
Oh, yeah.
And so you're getting all the, like, vitriol from those people who are like, the first one's supposed to be like a big social commentary, and it's not supposed to be like, you know, serious, and also it's not like all these things, and it's like, shut up. Like, if you watch George A. Romero's modern zombie movies, the last 4 he's made,
The Diary of the Dead,
they're fucking awful. Like,
yeah.
The dude made 2, technically for me, I think the first 3 he made were great.
Yeah.
After that, it's like, no, this dude is just kind of nuts, and I don't know, that movie, it's funny. The zombie stuff is actually scary. He made zombies scary. Like that zombie in the parking garage. Like,
yeah. Who had, like, no legs. Lieutenant Dan ain't got no legs. Yeah, like, I just watched it, and my girlfriend's never seen it. And she was just like, holy shit, like, at certain parts, because, like, they're not walkers. Like, they don't walk. They, like, haul ass.
They're runners.
And they're, like, physically strong. Like, they're very strong.
Yeah.
So, for example, like, one of the characters' husbands turned into a zombie. I'm not giving too much away. And, because it's at the very beginning. And, like, he's like, ah! You know, making all these noises and shit. And then, like, she comes outside to, like, start the car. And, like, jumps on top of the car and, like, bashes the front of the fucking window. And it's just like, and she's like, holy fucking shit, you know what I mean? Like, getting the hell out of there.
The best part of the movie.
Best part, okay, let me say it.
Do it. Do it.
The Johnny Cash intro. No, it is.
No,
it is.
No, the best part of that movie that sets up what this movie stands for and the type of zombies that are going to be in it is very close to the scene you just talked about. He punches the glass, okay? She guns it in reverse, okay? She starts, like, driving, and you see the husband chasing her like the camera's pointing towards her character in the car, so you can see out the back window,
Mm-hmm.
and you see him chasing after the car to get her. But then the first human you see at the peripheral, the zombie smells too, and immediately like breaks chase with the car and fucking
rides at her.
It's so good.
No, and the other thing that I love in that movie, and it's such subtle hints that you wouldn't notice unless you watched it as many times as I have, sadly, is throughout the whole movie it tells you what's happening. But the lady doesn't pay attention to it because that's kind of something that we would do as humans, right? So what's happening is like she's at work and you see like all this, like they bring somebody in. She's a nurse coming off shift, and she's like, hey, what happened to George in floor 3? And they're like, oh, he's in ICU now. She's like, just from a bite?
Yeah.
You know? And then she goes to leave, and another person comes in with like this huge bright bite on their neck, and she doesn't think much of it. And then so she starts driving home, and on the radio you hear like, oh, this just in, blah, 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 like news starting to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then she turns at the music because you're like, because there's so many times like I'm riding in the car with my girlfriend and like news is happening and I'll go to listen to it and then she'll change it to like a song. And then they get home. Oh man, I'm blowing the whole
They get home and it's date night.
Yeah.
So they don't like, they shut off the TV.
Yeah.
They'll have some shower sex.
Yeah.
They go to bed.
Yeah, just like anything like.
Yeah.
Because like right before they even, during the shower scene, it kind of shows on the TV, but it doesn't show exactly.
And they turn it off.
And you can hear it, like what's happening, like this just in an emergency, blah, 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 blah. But they just turn it off because, you know, they're like, screw this. You know what I mean? It's not that important. We just got done.
Oh my God, that movie's so good.
Yeah, it is. That's
like
insane.
she wakes up, they wake up, and you see a little girl down the hallway from their bedroom. And they're like,
which is obviously the daughter.
Not their daughter.
Oh, it's the
neighbor girl.
Yeah.
Who she's like, I could skate backwards. And she's like, oh yeah, show me, like at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
So they're like, Alicia, are you okay, sweetie? Where are your parents? Like, and then they get close and it does this like fucking wicked like boom, like horror sound note where it's like
yeah.
And she has like half of her
face checked out. Yeah. And then she like bites the husband or whatever. But even beyond that part, like once they're in the mall, because it goes back to the mall and everything, it like there's a secondary character who they kind of meet, like, and they talk to him through the roof or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets to a point where you can tell they've been there for a little while because they almost make it to like, hey, shoot this type of person. Like they point out actors.
Shoot Rosie O'Donnell.
Or Burt Reynolds. And the guy from across the way will shoot him or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just like, And there's certain characters, all right, not blowing up to the moon. My favorite part, beyond the intro and the Johnny Cash, like, there's 2 movies that are amazing of zombie movies just because their intro alone. This one and then Zombieland. Because that song from Metallica, from Whom the Bell Tolls, is perfect. Well, and the way they do it. But at the end, it goes to roll credits. And before that, one of the main characters, like, he dies. I'm not going to tell you how because I don't want to ruin it. And Monica's like, my girlfriend, she was like, that's it? Like, that's how it ends? I'm like, no. I'm like, that's not how it ends at all. Mm-hmm. It makes you watch through the credits. And then through the credits, basically everyone is fucked.
Yeah.
And I like that because it's like...
They get on a boat. They're out in the sea. They eventually make it to an island, but the zombie virus is spread there too because probably other people have the same idea to go to an island.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they come across this boat in the middle of the ocean and they open the cooler and there's like a zombie inside the cooler. They're like, what the fuck? What is this?
It's just the head?
Yeah.
Which shows that like other people were trying to make it to that same island, which is so smart. Like,
so they get off thinking like everything's fine.
I agree. The opening credits with Johnny Cash and the film reels, which the other cool thing is they splice in like fake news footage with like real footage of like riots that really happened. And yeah, it's playing, you know, Johnny Cash, and it's cool because it's a song about, you know, death. The one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Yeah,
like, I heard as it were a sound of thunder. Like, it's about death, and that's fucking awesome. So I wasn't saying that scene sucks. Like,
I'm saying what you're saying. Yeah,
it was badass. But that moment at the beginning when he peels off from chasing the car, that shows it's not like there's no mental It's not that he's like, I want to kill my wife. It's not like, 28 Days Later with the Rage Monkeys. It's fucking just primal, just, it's
primal instincts, yeah.
And he's chasing the car, he's seeing the other guy, and just immediately, and then like there's the scene where like guy like stops her to like, or no, she's gonna run, and then he like one of her neighbors draws a gun on her, and he's like, go back inside.
Yeah, get back inside, and then he gets fucking blasted by a fucking ambulance.
And then she's driving away, and slowly
it pans out,
and then you see this fucking car like driving down the same highway, but then like perpendicular you see this like car barreling down the road, and it fucking nails another car into a gas station.
And it implodes. Explodes.
That reminds me of 30 Days a Night. Have you seen 30 Days a Night?
Yeah.
Okay, remember?
That's one of my favorite vampire movies.
Remember, my favorite, you can ask Emily, my fiance, you can ask her anytime, like, what is one of my favorite lines to say from a movie? And it's where, like, the girl's on her knees praying, and the lead vampire
is above her. Yeah, I don't want to take it for a god.
Yeah, and he's standing above her, and he's like, listening to her, and she's like, please, God, blah, blah, blah. And he kneels down, and he's like, God. And he says, God, and then he looks around as if to say, like, where?
Yeah.
And he puts his hands up and he goes, no God. I'm like, oh,
My
God.
favorite scene in that movie, not to get off of Dawn of the Dead, my favorite scene in 30 Days and Nights, because the vampire lore, technically they're not allowed to come into your house unless invited. 30 Days and Nights says, fuck that. It doesn't matter. So what's happening is there's this guy chilling on the couch, like they're at their house, and he's like watching TV, and his wife's cooking. And he's like, hey babe, what are you cooking, blah, 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 and they're just talking. This motherfucking vampire jumps through the window, takes this bitch, and takes her out of the house, and then the husband's like, oh shit, blah, 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 blah. But there's nothing, you can't save her, she's fucked. So, like, they start dragging her under, like, the fucking houses and stuff like that. I don't know why I enjoy it, because what it is, like, when something scary happens, your body has that initial reaction first. Well, when the vampire goes in there, he's not familiar with that house. And it's so smart, but it's such a quick snippet. And I just picked up on this because it's like, I, like, sometimes can focus really well on certain movies. When the vampire jumps to the window and gets in, he like looks around real quick to like access his environment, and he like looks at her and he's just like, whoa, and just takes her.
Immediately goes back to Wayne. Like that movie's fucking awesome. You want to know another cool vampire movie that I thought would be absolute garbage?
What's that?
Fright Night.
Really?
Have you seen Fright Night with Colin Farrell?
I don't think I ever have.
Rest in peace, Anton Yelchin. It's super good.
Really?
Watch that, especially watch that.
I think
with
I didn't watch it because the cover like kind of looks like
it looks cheesy, but it's a remake.
Yeah.
But it's an awesome remake where Colin Farrell's a vampire, and it's fucking awesome. And that rule applies of inviting a vampire in, and what they do with that is super cool. Watch that movie.
Yeah.
Don't watch the like second straight to DVD movie. Watch the first Fright Night with Colin Farrell, Anton Yelchin, and I think her name is Imogen Poots, who I think she's a Scottish actress.
Yeah.
The movie's super good. It's so
that's like another vampire movie that not many people like, but I only enjoy it because it follows the lore. Was Let Me In or Let the Right Ones In, the remake.
You like the remake?
Well, only because of this. Only because there's certain scenes.
Thought it broke like what made the original so.
Well, it did, but there's certain scenes that are very intelligent in it, and you wouldn't catch it unless you like knew like vampire lore or whatever. But there's like the scene where the girl or the vampire, not to give it'll give it away.
I mean, you read the description. It's about a little girl vampire.
And she, like, the little boy doesn't know that she's a vampire at this point. She just knows her as a friend, like a kid friend. Like, he walks into his house and the door is open for her to walk in, and she just stands there. Yeah. And she's like, can I come in? And he's just like, yeah, fine. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you naturally would. But the thing that he doesn't understand is if he's like, nah, then she can't come in. Yeah. And plus the idea of, like, how she's little, but she's, like, feeding off of somebody. Like, she doesn't really, like, love any of these people. she just kind of uses them to keep going.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So by the time that one guy was old, anyways. So all right.
It's definitely October.
Yeah.
I'll say that much.
Yeah, we just burned through another half hour just talking about them.
Yeah.
I hope SoundCloud allows me to upload all this.
Hopefully, horror movies are awesome.
But all right, so
numb.
we got to wrap up because his butt's numb and I'm getting too sweaty. So, any final statements you'd like to make for this podcast?
I don't know. I guess play Witcher 3 because that's like the greatest game of all. I'm just kidding. Mafia 3, wait till it goes on sale. Battlefield 1, if you weren't already interested, if you had the same concerns I did, they find that balance by having the single player serious and heartfelt and honest, and then the multiplayer being fun. It's still fun. It's tough as shit, but it's fun. That's all I got.
Final statements for me. Yeah, I really enjoyed playing Battlefield 1, and I'm going to have to play the beta for Advanced Warfare because I still want to kind of get it just to get the extra game, like you said.
Yeah.
But after playing Battlefield 1 and how just the intro alone was very intricate, and even me using like current military like advantages or military tactics, and that didn't work, kind of like made me happy in a weird way because typically like I can figure a game out doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like the thing for Mafia 3 that makes me so good is like I understand how to do, the room clearings and stuff like that just from my past. So it almost gets monotonous because I'm like, okay, I know how to take out this guy, and there's ways you can cheat it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in Battlefield 1, especially the intro is like no holds barred. So, all right. So as always, comment, like, share, and subscribe, and follow us on Facebook.